More than 3,000 years ago, before Rome emerged and even before Greece built its marble temples, a war forever marked mythology and Western culture. A war not started by ambition for land or gold, but by the pride of the gods and the desire of a single man. This is the story of the Trojan War. It all begins with a banquet on Olympus. The gods were celebrating the wedding of Peleus and Thetis, a mortal and a sea nymph. Everyone was invited except one, Eris, the goddess of discord. Offended, she decides to take revenge in the most venomous way. She throws a golden apple among the guests with the inscription, "To the fairest." Instantly, 3 goddesses claim the prize: Hera, queen of the gods; Athena, goddess of wisdom; and Aphrodite, goddess of love. Unable to reach an agreement, they turn to an unlikely judge, Paris, prince of Troy. Each one tries to win him over with promises. Hera offers power over all men. Athena promises wisdom and victory in every battle. Aphrodite, however, touches Paris's deepest desire, promising him the love of the most beautiful woman in the world. He chooses Aphrodite, and that seemingly harmless choice would seal Troy's fate. The woman promised by Aphrodite was Helen, wife of Menelaus, king of Sparta. They said her beauty was so dazzling it could launch 1,000 ships. When Paris visits Sparta, he is welcomed with hospitality, but taking advantage of Menelaus's absence, he seduces or abducts Helen, or perhaps she goes with him willingly. Either way, the two flee to Troy. And with that, Menelaus summons his allies, calling for vengeance and honor. A coalition of kings and princes is formed under the command of Agamemnon, Menelaus's brother and king of Mycenae. Among those who answer the call are the most legendary heroes of Greek mythology. Achilles, the nearly invincible warrior; Odysseus, master of cunning; Ajax, the giant of immense strength; Nestor, the wise counselor, and many others. 1,000 ships are prepared, and with them thousands of soldiers cross the Aegean Sea toward Troy. Thus begins a war that would last 10 long years. Troy, protected by tall walls and great warriors like Hector, Paris's brother, resists bravely. The war drags on in bloody battles, with moments of truce, betrayals, duels, and constant interventions from the gods. Each deity chooses a side. Hera and Athena, enraged by Paris's choice, support the Greeks. Aphrodite protects the Trojans. Apollo and Artemis also side with Troy, while Zeus, king of the gods, hesitates to get directly involved, trying to maintain a fragile balance. During the first years, the war develops without a clear victor. In one of the most dramatic moments, Agamemnon clashes with Achilles by taking a Trojan captive named Briseis, who had been awarded to Achilles as a prize of war. Offended and enraged, Achilles refuses to fight, withdrawing from the battlefield. His absence brings great losses to the Greeks. The Trojans, led by Hector, gain the upper hand. But everything changes when Patroclus, Achilles' cousin and close friend, wears his armor and enters the fight, trying to inspire the Greeks. He temporarily turns the tide, but is killed by Hector. Upon hearing the news, Achilles is consumed by overwhelming grief. His return to battle is brutal. Like a force of nature, he devastates the Trojans and seeks ruthless revenge against Hector. The duel between Achilles and Hector is one of the war's high points. Hector, even knowing he cannot win, faces Achilles with courage. After an intense fight, Hector is killed. Achilles, driven by fury, ties his enemy's body to his chariot and drags it around the walls of Troy. Only days later, moved by the sorrow of the old King Priam, Hector's father, Achilles returns the body for an honorable burial. Hector's death deeply shakes Troy, but the city still holds out. The years pass. Heroes on both sides continue to fall. Achilles, though nearly invincible, meets his end at the hands of Paris, aided by Apollo. The arrow strikes his only vulnerable point, the heel, the famous Achilles' heel. With the loss of their greatest heroes, the Greeks realize that brute force alone won't win the war. It is Odysseus who proposes the boldest and most ingenious plan of the entire war, the Trojan Horse. The Greeks build a gigantic wooden horse, seemingly as a gift of surrender. Inside, the finest Greek warriors hide. The others pretend to leave, burning their camps and sailing away. The Trojans, believing in victory, bring the horse inside their walls as a trophy. That night, while Troy sleeps in celebration, the soldiers emerge from the horse. Silently, they open the city gates. The Greek army, which had hidden nearby, returns. The city is engulfed in flames. The massacre is total. Men are killed. Women and children enslaved. King Priam is murdered, and the temple of Poseidon, where many sought refuge, is desecrated. Troy, the great and once invincible city, is reduced to ashes. But the war does not end there. The consequences ripple outward. Odysseus will take another 10 years to return to Ithaca, facing monsters, gods, and curses, a story told in the Odyssey. Aeneas, a surviving Trojan prince, flees and, according to Roman tradition, will found the lineage that gives rise to Rome and Helen. She returns with Menelaus to Sparta. Some say she lived with him until the end of her days. Others say she never left Greece and that the woman taken by Paris was an illusion created by Aphrodite. But one final question hovers over this story. Did the Trojan War really happen? For centuries, it was believed to be just a myth. However, in the 19th century, archaeologist Heinrich Schliemann claimed to have found the ruins of Troy in present-day Turkey. Excavations at Hisarlik revealed an ancient city destroyed by fire, possibly around 1200 BCE, aligning with mythological accounts. There is still debate about how much is truth and how much is legend. What is known is that Homer's Iliad, though full of gods and poetic exaggerations, may contain the distant echo of a real war, fought for pride, for power, and for love. And so, the Trojan War remains alive, not only in books, but in the stories we still tell, in films, plays, songs, and now in this moment as you listen to this tale, because stories like this never die,